Zookeepers were left baffled when they kept finding this orangutan sitting outside his enclosure. The culprit left them all in shock. Fu Manchu was an orangutan who lived at the Omaha Zoo in the 1960s. Thanks to his antics at the zoo, he isn't going to be forgotten anytime soon. Fu would become a much-loved resident of the zoo. Gentle and easygoing, he was a joy to zookeepers, as they remember. Fu, at a young age, would climb inside of the keepers' parkas as they were wearing them, slide his arms into the sleeves and play with the keepers. He even saved a curator who had slipped on a wet floor inside the exhibit. It also turned out the orangutan was far smarter than he was initially given credit for. One day, the zookeepers were left shocked when they arrived at Fu's enclosure and spotted the orangutan sitting in a tree with his companion and 3 children. Nothing strange about that. After all, orangutans love climbing trees. Except, the tree Fu and his family was sitting in was outside of their enclosure. When the orangutans were back inside, disappointed headkeeper Jerry Stones gathered his team and gave them a tongue lashing over the maintenance door he had discovered open and unlocked. Only a few days later, Stone's disappointment turned to fury when Fu Manchu was discovered sunbathing on a rooftop outside the enclosure. With no holes in the enclosure fencing and a door discovered open once more, the careless culprit would have to be fired. Around this time, staff began noticing Fu was acting a little strangely. As they quietly gathered to observe him, an extraordinary scene unfolded before them. Fu made his way to the enclosure's maintenance door and climbed down some air vents before revealing what looked like a homemade pick lock. Inserting it into the latch, he was able to unlock the door. With the true culprit revealed, keepers discovered Fu had bent a long piece of salvaged wire into shape. With orangutans known as tool masters, the revelation was a humbling moment. In the wild, orangutans have been seen using leaves as gloves and have even been spotted spearfishing. Further observation also revealed the reason Fu's strategy hadn't been discovered earlier. Between escape attempts, the crafty orangutan had taken to hiding the key between his bottom lip and gums to avoid detection. Fu's extraordinary efforts saw him granted an honorary membership to the American Association of Locksmiths. He lived until 1992, leaving 20 children and 15 grandchildren and great-grandchildren.